For more on the rise in Apple shares and what it means ahead of tomorrow's new iPad release, I'm joined by Scott Sutherland, an Apple analyst from Wedbush Securities. We'll talk about the market cap thing in a moment. Let's talk about the iPad first. What do you think? Is this really the iPad 2S?
No, I actually think this is a little bit more of an upgrade cycle than, obviously it doesn't have Siri as far as the personal assistant, but in this case, speed matters. 4G, faster processing, so it's a much faster tablet than the iPad 2, and I think that's going to drive a big upgrade cycle.
So it still doesn't have a name. It's probably not going to have a name. It's just the new iPad. One of our contributors, Paul Kudrowski, thinks that means there's a family of iPads to come, iPads in different sizes, much like the iPod. Do you agree with that?
There's been long-term speculation of a mini iPad out there, obviously a 7-inch tablet. I think that makes a lot of sense. I've always said that you should let the consumer choose the size of the computing system that they want. Samsung does a very good job across all sizes. I think Apple doing a family of tablets or hybrid devices like the Galaxy Note would make a lot of sense.
Let's talk about this issue of market cap. Your price target's actually below $600. You heard Corey's thoughts. Does it really matter?
I think as far as market cap and law large numbers, and you look at Apple's market share around the world, I think there's obviously a lot more to go with the stock. Eventually, law of large numbers does set in. I think people have been saying that about Apple for over a year now, and then we've seen this just tremendous run in the stock since the start of the year. And many analysts, including myself, are still trying to catch up, and we'll ascertain the iPad demand tomorrow and see where we go from here.
Are the best days behind it?
I think moving from $100 to $600 from an investor standpoint, are we going to see another six-fold increase over a few-year period? Probably not. Can the stock still hit? Will it be the first trillion-dollar company? I think there's room to grow into that. You look at those PC market share numbers and mobile phone market share numbers, they're still single digits. So lots of growth potential.
Now, I was talking to Peter Missick of Jefferies the other day. He has a much higher price target than you, $699. He believes the Apple TV, the new set, is already in production in China. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we know that there's an Apple TV coming. It was in the book, and it's what type of TV it's going to be. Funny enough, I was also at a mobile voice conference in San Francisco the last 2 days, and people talked about the user interface on a tablet or an iPad being used with the connected TV. So I think they're going to have an integrated device, a tablet interface, and new media relationships, just like iTunes did with music. I think it's going to change a little bit how the media industry is consumed by consumers.
He says it'll be on sale before the end of the year. Do you think it'll be that soon?
I agree, yes. I think it'll be one of the 3 major product launches at least this year.
So we're still seeing Steve Jobs, the imprint of Steve Jobs in the products that are out now. Will we see him in the new Apple TV?
I think that's an interesting question there. I think we're going to see an imprint of him. His fingerprint's going to be all over it. Clearly, from a technology standpoint, the iCloud is the platform for the next decade, and that was his vision, to connect all these different devices together. So in that sense, his fingerprint's all over this and will be over Apple products for several years to come.
Okay. Well, Scott Sutherland will be looking for that imprint. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Bloomberg West. Scott Sutherland of Wedbush.